Now, one thing I want to say as we jump into this, because what we're about to see is that, fast forward 3 days, Sunday morning, they find the tomb. This portion of Scripture, just something I want to make sure that we kind of understand as we look at the Bible, as we try to understand the Bible, as we try to figure things out, this portion of Scripture is one of the weirdest, oddest, most confusing portions of Scripture in the Bible. Because Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, all four address the events of this day, and none of them talk about the same things. Or where they do talk about the same things, they share different details. And so throughout the years, scholars have said, okay, well, we take these Gospels as being eyewitness accounts or describing things that actually happened. How do we put these together so we actually see the full flow of events of Sunday, Resurrection Sunday? And so scholars have tried that over the years. And one thing that we found, and we've talked about before, there are some variations. Like, for instance, what we'll see here in a little bit, the names that it gives of the women who go to the tomb. Mark gives one set of names. Matthew gives another set of names. John just mentions one person. Right? So how do you square that? Well, we also have to remember, as we've said over and over again, that variation does not equal contradiction. If you have a group of people going somewhere and you mention 3 of them and someone else mentions 4 of them and you don't have the names that match up, does that mean you're contradicting one another? No, it just means you're picking out different people that you remember, that you recall, that you're pointing out. It doesn't mean the other people weren't there. And so, as we'll see, as we go through this over the next few weeks, there's different ways that scholars have said, okay, I think it goes this way, and some other scholar says, no, it goes this way. And they could both be right. As I was studying this, and I thought, okay, I want to make sure that we have this down. If I'm preaching through a harmonized 4 Gospels into one story, I want to know that whatever I'm saying, I'm convinced this is the events. I actually printed out, we need new paper, by the way, we're low. I actually printed out the last couple chapters of the Gospels and cut it out into different segments of details, put 4 tables together over in the fellowship hall and laid it all out and sat there and went, okay, this happened there, and then this one, okay, this was, now it's in. And I went through to find how this harmonized. And I researched in what other scholars have found. And I stopped at about 6 different harmonizations, and they all work without contradiction. And each one could very well be the way that it is. Now I have the one that I'm convinced makes the most sense, but there are others that make sense too. And it's not necessarily a contradiction. Go ahead and put a plug for some material on the website. You want to go to the website? Remember a while back we did a study on Easter contradictions where we went through the crucifixion, resurrection, and ascension stories, actually took what critics of Christianity say are contradictions, and we did about 24 of them and showed how it's not actually a contradiction at all. That these variations in the details actually stand up and look exactly what eyewitness accounts are going to look like and lend to the credibility and reliability of Scripture. Do not detract from it.
Lord, we